Straight ahead on Valley News Live at 10, we'll have the latest on some messy weather coming through right now that could impact tomorrow's travel plans.
Plus, how a Minnesota program is succeeding in beginning to alleviate the state's shortage of nurses.
And a Fargo family slapped with medical bills after they say their apartment building failed to remove mold. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Stacey Van Dyke.
I'm Justin Betty. April is right around the corner, but we're not rid of our wintry weather just yet.
Yeah, we'll get to your forecast in just a couple minutes. But first, Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor is out in the elements to give us a look at conditions right now. Nishay, where are you and what are you seeing?
Well, Stacey and Justin, right now I am in Fergus Falls, and you can for sure say the wintry weather has not gone yet because we're right in the middle of it. Actually, it's a different look compared to the 9 o'clock hour. We were patiently waiting for some kind of activity, and now we got it. It actually started out as rain, what it appeared as rain, and now all of a sudden it's starting to sleet right now, and it's coming down pretty heavy. Actually, if you can see the light post over there, you can see it like basically like going diagonally. It's going pretty fast actually, but I'm gonna turn around here and try and catch some of these little balls here because it's coming down really heavy, and actually it kind of hits you in the face, and it's kind of hard. Once it's on the ground, it's actually kind of slippery also. So if these people are out here on these roads, they might want to slow down, because me just standing here and slipping and sliding so far. But I wanted to catch these balls here for Mr. Hutch Johnson because he wanted to see them, and they're a decent size. I don't know if you guys can see them in my hand, but we'll send it back over to Hutch so he can kind of explain exactly what these are.
I'm looking at your hand, Nishay. I got to tell you, those ice balls at pitchers and catchers reporting for duty in spring break, oddly enough, you did a good job of catching those ice balls. I got a question for you, Nishay. Sleet is a transparent or clear ice ball. Are they clear or are they milky white?
They're clear, actually.
Oh, okay, then that is
clear.
sleet. Yeah, and we did get a report of some sleet in Ashby down the road from you and slippery conditions. So your advice is spot on. Slow it down. Thanks, Nishay, for reporting from Fergus Falls.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look around the region. This system is amazing. It's intense. It's dynamic. And this is a look, hard to see, but the road has snow tracks in it up there in Cavalier Highway 5. It's accumulated out there in the northern part of the valley. And now let's take a look at the impacts. First and foremost, we have a mix of precipitation out there. We have some snow, and wind will be increasing overnight. Some areas of reduced visibility, and that will last into your Wednesday. Here's a look at the Dakota Magic Casino. We have the raindrops falling through from time to time here recently. We've seen a couple flakes trying to mix in, and that's what we're expecting, is that transition. Now, what you're looking at here is a modeled depiction of what the radar is estimating is falling in these places, but that's why your reports are very helpful. Thunder and lightning heading toward the Twin Cities. We had some rumbles of thunder moving through the Sisseton area, moving through Grant County and into southern parts of Otter Tail County in the last even 15 minutes. We've had some lightning strikes. Parker's Prairie heading up into Wadena County. If you're hearing things outside, we mentioned thunder, sleet, thunder, snow. It's taking place out there. Heading up northward on I-94 towards Barnesville, and here it is moving in towards New York Mills as we speak. All the colors describing that we could be seeing sleet, some snow, some rain, and some freezing graupel as well. Snow is covering the roads. In fact, reports of heavy snow in and around Badger in Roseau County. It's going to accumulate on some roads up there as well. Temperatures are in the 30s for all of us. Still expecting that band of 1 to 3 inches for many southeast North Dakota through Fargo-Moorhead into Becker County, into Bemidji. Pockets, isolated areas picking up 6 or more inches because of the convective nature of the precipitation. Hour by hour details here in a few minutes. If I seem excited, it's just a little bit of everything. It's kind of like going into the candy store. So
thanks Hutch and Nishay for reporting live out there for us. We all got a bit of a science lesson there.
Yeah, drive home safe, Nishay. Waldo Valley has avoided, though, any major flooding so far this season. Grand Forks police are reminding folks that parts of the Greenway are closed right now, including the dog park and some bike paths because of flooding. There's also some flooding at the Grand Forks Country Club.
In other news tonight, a man wanted for murdering his wife north of the Twin Cities last night was caught in Fargo this morning. Police say they received a tip overnight that 45-year-old James Nyonta might be in the Fargo area. This morning, the SWAT team found him at the Dakota Park Apartments near Essentia Health on 32nd Avenue South. He was arrested and linked to the murder investigation in Champlin, Minnesota. Police say he was arrested without any issues and will remain in the Cass County Jail until he's extradited to Hennepin County.
New developments tonight in a story we've been following for months. Valley News Live has been investigating Arbor Court's apartments since October when they forced residents in one of their buildings to vacate because of roofing issues.
We've now found out the owners of the complex are suing several of the companies that helped build it, but several residents have reached out to Valley News Live complaining of other issues as well.
Valley News Team's Alex Larson sat down with some previous residents today and has more.
I just want it to be made right with our son. I mean, we've spent a lot of money on medical bills for him.
Raylan and Rob Schneider moved into Arbor Courts right around the time they got married in 2018. A couple years later, their son Mason was born. And not long after, he had to have multiple nebulizers or breathing treatments every week.
I mean, it was very scary having to hold him down, use two people to hold him down to do these treatments. I mean, it was awful. There was several times that I was crying, he was crying, and Dad's shaking his head because we're both in tears.
Raylan and Ron had breathing issues as well, but brushed it off as allergies.
After we moved in here, I think both of our breathing issues have cleared up.
Yeah.
I was there as another resident was getting out in late October, and there were large patches of mold in the apartment.
There's been multiple people that said, yeah, we would be glad to get into a class action lawsuit because of it.
Arbor Court says all buildings were clear of mold. They blame roof issues and initially asked folks on the third floor to evacuate.
The second floor tenants were asked to move out on the corner units, and then all of a sudden the entire building.
Arbor Court says it helped each tenant with both movers and moving costs. The Schneiders were told if they rented with Epic again, their deposit could be moved to a new unit somewhere else. But for those who didn't, they were on their own for moving costs and movers.
I can vouch for everybody else that I know personally in that building. They did not get proper notice and plenty of compensation and help to be back.
The Schneiders say the most important part is that their son is okay.
That's Alex Larson reporting. Arbor Court says the other buildings at the apartment complex did not need to be vacated, adding again that lawsuit is ongoing.
Minneapolis teachers welcomed students back to class today after 15 days of missed instruction due to the teacher strike. Now, to make up for the lost time, school officials and union members have agreed to extend the school year. Instead of June 10th being the last day of the school year, it'll now be June 24th. They're also adding an extra 42 minutes to each school day starting April 11th.
The FDA has now approved a second COVID booster shot for anyone over age 50, as well as immunocompromised people over age 11. According to the administration, emerging evidence suggests the second booster provides protection against severe COVID cases and is not associated necessarily with any new safety concerns. During the worst part of the pandemic, Minnesota long-term care facilities were so short-staffed, 400 National Guard troops had to be called in to help. But thanks to more than $3 million in American Rescue Plan money, the state began a program this January to train 1,000 certified nursing assistants. So far, 1,200 Minnesotans have taken advantage of this deal, which includes tuition, textbooks, and exam fees. Today, Governor Tim Walz toured a training facility at St. Paul College.
If we and when we see another surge, this issue of in those long-term care facilities will not be the same crisis situation that we saw, and that gives us a hand up on things.
The governor's budget proposal contains $6.7 million to continue recruiting this program.
Finding a cure for ALS just got a big funding boost from the Minnesota legislature. A bill to pay for research and caregivers is on its way to be signed into law by Governor Tim Walz. He says those millions of dollars will make Minnesota a national leader. Lawmakers approved $20 million for ALS research and $5 million for caregiver support with overwhelming bipartisan support. Those millions will stay in Minnesota with grants to support research that institutions like the University of Minnesota and the Mayo Clinic are already doing.
New tonight, Trollwood Performing Arts School in Moorhead is postponing their main stage musical until next summer. The organization says because of rising material costs and trouble staffing some key positions, they are pushing back their performance of Singin' in the Rain until 2023. However, they say all other programs will go on as planned this summer.
The Kremlin has announced they'll lessen their attacks, but the Pentagon isn't so sure. We'll get you up to speed on the war on Ukraine right after this break.
1, 2, 3 bands of snow down south, thunder and lightning. Still some remnant lightning in the second band, and up north it's mighty snowy. We have flakes flying across the valley right now. Here's a look at some DOT cameras through the region. Sisseton to the south, Roosevelt and Badger to the north, covered roads in Cavalier. Your forecast next.